It's the last Wednesday of the year. It's last week of the year. Of course, I had to pop back up with an episode. Usually by this time, I would have inundated you with a couple of best of lists for the year, but I'm changing it up this time. Top five everything, or top five anything that I found to be impactful in 2022. This list is literally going to consist of everything in no particular order and within any genre that I feel like choosing. Completely randomized. Hello, welcome. So, starting off the list, remember this is in no particular order. This is just filling in the five, I'll say. Atlanta, the final season. I know I said it was no particular order, but what else would have been first on my list? Hell, the entire series, actually. Definitely something special, and having the opportunity to connect with you, the audience, while reviewing the final two seasons was dope. All in all, this is a series finale that I was not mad at. Made you think, obviously. Clearly, everybody wasn't happy, but who cares? We were. Well, a majority of us were, so that's all that matters. Otherwise, whatever. You know what? No, I'm not going to get into it, but you not read all the people that didn't like it because it's fine if you don't like it. It's your preference. That's whatever. It's cool, but definitely going to miss the show in general, and looking forward to see what everyone involved within the production has in store next. So this one is just easy. I guess I should number these because otherwise this is just me talking about random stuff. So number one was Atlanta, FX, the series. Two, Kendrick Lamar for his album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Not only for making number one on my Spotify wrap up, but come on. Solid double album with good vibes and top tier conceptualism. What else can you ask for, especially in these times when most people are relying on a single and getting traction on TikTok? All right, I said I wasn't going to read anybody, but whatever. It's going to slip through here and there. Cool. It's not like you guys don't see it and witness the nonsense that goes on, especially musically now. It's a bit ridiculous, but very solid album. I'm pretty sure you've heard at least one of the songs. If not, go check it out because I said so. Not only that, but because Kendrick Lamar is a great artist. Number three, the women's middleweight boxing match, Clarissa Shields versus Sarah Marshall. Highly anticipated and ended just how I predicted back on her appreciation episode. It went the distance and it was a good fight to watch, so I'm not going to front on that. It wasn't a complete knockout or letdown. They both did their thing. I'm interested to see how Clarissa's going to pivot into MMA to grab more titles, but I'm definitely going to stay tuned for that because apparently she said next year that's what she's going to be focusing on. So, more fights. And even UFC this year had some great fights. And just general, even the cards that you wouldn't think that would be interested were. Some prelims were nice too, but it's a pretty decent year for fighting, I'll say in general. Number four. I feel like I need like an announcement for the numbers. I'm not gonna get that fancy with it. It's literally the last week of the year. You do it. Number four. The Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. What a phone. A phone made this list? Right, exactly. I feel like I have to because as a person with their hand in everything, doing the most per usual, productivity is important. You can get everything done and more with this and quickly. Even when I tend to rely on a laptop or a desktop, more so a laptop when traveling to get things done from design, production, audio, video editing, and more. I found myself using my phone for a lot more of these tasks this year. I don't know if that's coincidental for, travel ramping back up and everything, or just the convenience of just having it and the capability that the S22 Ultra has that kind of lends itself to doing these tasks, it's just a solid phone. Fire camera and lenses, access to a stylus, nice screen, and it sounds good. Yes, I do miss my expandable storage option and sometimes even a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, but those differences are easily remedied. Obviously, you get your earbuds or your little adapter thingies. Otherwise, I mean, you got cloud storage, but it's just like once you get over those things, what else can you complain about with a device? It's kind of hard to, especially with the quality of things that it's able to turn out. Get an S20. No, I'm not telling you to go buy the phone or whatever. Just put a pin in it if you are on this side of things in the ecosystem of phones and everything. Know how some of you people like to argue over operating systems, which is pointless to me. You got your preference, that's cool. Just leave me out of it. I don't need to be swayed one way or the other because you like a certain device and feel like you're superior because you use it. It's so strange. People are weird. That happens a lot with the different arguments. PC and console. Like, why? Anyway, getting back on topic. And last but not least, you all. No, 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 no. That's wild corny. Yes, I'm forever appreciative for listeners, but that's too easy. Like, come on, that's beyond the cop out. I'm not gonna do that. Number 5 of the top 5 is, or I should say are, birria tacos. Is this greedy? Oh well, birria tacos had a time this year. For those who don't know, birria is slow cooked beef tacos served with a beef consomme. Now, the tortilla is usually dipped in the stew and seared, and then you have quesadilla taco. Oh my god, it's a lot. There are so many varieties, but that's the basic recipe of it. Shout out to Little Minor, Chili on Top, El Rey, Tippy's Taco House, Taco Bamba. I can literally keep going. But these are some dope restaurants specifically in the DMV area. That is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Get you some birria tacos. And if you haven't had birria ramen yet, do that too. Man, there's a wow. Just say yes to birria. Like if you haven't made it yet, do yourself a favor and go get some actual birria first before you try to do your thing in your instant pot. Like I understand wanting the challenge, but you have to get the components down before you try it at home. Then you can try it at home. Try it in a restaurant, then try it at home. Specifically in that order. See, I was gonna end it here, but that's not fun. I'm continuing the judgment with top 10 misses for me. Still in no particular order. I highly recommend you always see for yourself and give things a chance and always go in with lowered expectations. But some of these are just, yeah, let's just get into it. First on the top 10 misses list, Bodies, 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 the motion picture. First of all, let me start by saying this. It was not my choice to go see this at all, clearly. Come on. There's no way. Teen angsty dramas, yes, that's my thing. They're great. I'm a Degrassi head for life. But I knew this was going to be some BS from the previews. And it was. This movie is literally social media personified. I know I keep promising it, but the social media episode is coming. It's just a living op ed since we're still in it, in suffering, in sadness. But it's a lot. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to kind of meld it into conversation. I can obviously ask people and guess their opinion, which I will because I feel like it affects us all, depending on how tapped in and connected you are, or tapped out or disconnected you are, because a lot of people don't have social media or don't use social media actively as others. But yeah, that movie, That's a pass for me. If you wanna jump into it because it's streaming and it's free, go ahead. It's free. It ain't gonna hurt you. Give it the first 5-minute test. Other than that, mm, you can laugh at it. So it's not necessarily like you'll be just sitting there in dryness, just watching it reluctantly. But oof, that okay. I'm gonna just leave it there because if I say that, y'all definitely not gonna watch it. Number two on the misses list, the Fed's blocking student loan forgiveness. Super dud. Specifically, U.S. Judge Mark Pittman in Texas and the Supreme Court. It's not the greatest plan for student debt relief, but it's a start. Unfortunately, it's on hold until justices meet in February 2023, which is tomorrow, and they project to have a decision by June. In the meantime, unsolicited financial advice, of course, I am not your financial advisor, nor am I your CPA, your tax preparer, any of that, none of that. But keep stacking your paper. Look into PSLF, that's public student loan forgiveness if you work in the public sector. Pay outstanding interest that you may have on any federal loans because when those payments start back up, guess what you're going to be paying against? Not the principal, the interest that you got in the bank. So imagine you knocking that down to zero and it's just been on ice for these pandemic years. That's definitely worth looking into. And most importantly, just prepare for payments to resume next year. I mean, we've had a hell of a break as far as it comes to that. So don't be all like, oh my God, they just threw this back at us. It's so unfair. This is all based on choices. I am not judging nobody nor individual for the situations and the choices that they had to make in order to attend a higher education institution because financials when it comes to college is a scam. But that's a whole nother topic. And it'll be summer before we know it. So I feel like, let's say randomly they decide to come to some kind of consensus in June, they'll probably try to reinstate something. Or maybe we'll get another pushback, depending on who's. Mm, you know what? Put a pin in that. I feel like September 2023 or something. But yeah, just get ready because here your loans come. Number three, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Or the Multiverse of Sadness because, bruh. AKA WandaVision, the motion picture, because it was just a no for me. And you know Doctor Strange is literally one of my faves in MCU. I didn't even review this. That's how bad it was. Some people were just like, "So where's the Doctor Strange review?" It ain't gonna happen, and it never will because that movie doesn't exist to me. It was in the movie for like 5 minutes, but it's okay. We're not gonna spend too much time on that because Phase 4, to me in general, we spoke about this before during the Black Panther review. Very lackluster. Black Panther was a high point for sure for Phase 4 and a great way to close it out because I'm ready for what's next. Please. Number 4, Dying Light 2. What a disappointment. Save yourself time and just play the first Dying Light. What was promised felt more like a forced outcome, repetitive, with very lackluster puzzles. Not even grindy. I can't even call this a grindy game. Clearly, I like Borderlands. You want to talk about grindy? That's a completely different realm, but it's not even that type of grind. It was just so one note, not as dynamic as it should have been, and it strayed a little bit too far from the original concept that made the game, the first one, of course, unique. The parkour was broken. I'm not even gonna get into the bugs, but yeah, just enjoy the first one. Highly recommend Dying Light Part 1. That's it. Part 2, if it's free, by all means. Number 5, Sonic's pickle juice slushy. Okay, for those who don't know, who are international listeners or haven't heard of Sonic, Sonic is a fast food, car hop style type of joint, which is wild because Sonic's ice and slushies are typically on point, but what would possess somebody to make a pickle juice slushy? Oh, and most importantly, no, I didn't try this. Like, could you imagine me pickle juice? I don't even rock with pickles. What makes you think that I would get a pickle juice slushy? That's gross. Like this flavor choice is just no. But shout out to those of you who tried it and all its vinegary goodness, allegedly, because I'll never know. But that was just a miss for me as far as like the new foods that were introduced and all the rest of that, because they could have kept that. Like imagine a flavor that you could have brought in if you were trying to be fancy with it or whatever. And if you really wanted your cucumbers cucumbing and your slushies there, you could have just made like a lemon cucumber joint that was refreshing and you could have sold that because it was hot this summer. You know what? Marketing people. But no, let's do a pickle juice slushy because ha ha hee hee. It's limited. I swear, yo. I don't know. The gimmicks be gimmicking. Ugh. Oh, another one? I feel like this has to be an honorable mention. Clearly, we're over 5 right now, but the land, air, and sea thing McDonald's had going on. What? Why? A fish fillet, a McChicken, and Big Mac burgers? Like, what? These are just more ideas that should have stayed on the cutting room floor. I don't know if I want to give people a shout out that actually tried that abomination because, oof, terrible. And it's just like the combinations that some people do make or keep it as like a secret menu item. You didn't have to share that secret with us. We didn't want that, like at all. Honestly, could have kept that and been fine. And that's a wrap for 2022. Hopefully, you enjoyed my entries and have some of your own to share. Maybe we'll keep it, yeah, we'll keep it to top 3 faves and top 3 misses to keep it light. If you can do 5 or more each, feel free. I'm going to have fun reading them regardless. But be sure to connect with us on Spotify. Check out the Q&A section and the poll, leaving your thoughts about 2022 and your top lists. You can also do so on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or verbalvibemode.com. Or feel free to leave a voicemail using the Anchor app. As per usual, all of the links are in the description box. Peace.